start. Maybe hold off. I don't want to ruin everybody's.
Yeah, let's talk about the game.
Everybody's.
You know what? Yeah, I would say. In the meantime, while we wait for that text message to come in, John, let me ask you this: What did you think about the Rob Williams and Daniel Theis tandem?
Well, let's notice.
Did it not look better than you thought it would? No.
I thought it looked outstanding.
Let's notice the name we're excluding from this list, which is Tristan, who has.
This is what you. Yep, this is what you want to do.
Clearly at this point. And again, we're a game ahead of people. Okay, we've talked about we're 1 or 2 games ahead of the trend.
We saw this coming.
We talked about Tristan Thompson starting to slip into the background.
He was the starter. And then he was the backup.
Is he the second guy? Is he the third guy? And as soon as Rob got his COVID legs under him, boom, he passed him too. Tristan Thompson is clearly the third big man on this team now.
My guy's chilling next to Taco right now.
You watch tonight, the eye test doesn't tell you any different. It's not just minutes, it's just the players right now.
Before we start, is this apology cam worthy? I'm only asking. I'm not saying it should be, but is it?
Tristan, Bobby kind of sort of did it last time. I almost feel bad.
Well, I wasn't on the show when he did it. I wasn't on the show when he did it.
No, Bobby's a little upset about Tristan too.
I've been bummed.
He's sad. I don't want to make him apologize. He's sad.
Okay, fine. He might be sad, but let's
Marcus
be
Smart
real
alert.
about one. Let's be real about one thing. We made the apology cam for a reason. So if we're using it, if Bobby wants to use it, he has to say it. We have
Jimmy, there are many factors that go into an apology cam. It's much more complex than you're able to comprehend.
Than my brain can comprehend. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Bobby, you start.
Bobby's so nervous right now. He's like, I'm not apologizing. I'm
gonna leave time.
He's like, please don't put the camera on.
I'm gonna leave time for him to ramp up, for him to get back to his form. I hope that's not impossible and it's just all a lost cause at this point, because then we'd be talking about a bad contract on the books that would be unmovable essentially for 2 years.
Oh, you mean like a Myles Turner?
No. Oh, damn.
we can go
like
back to that.
Type untradeable contract. Is that what you mean, Bob?
I don't want to do that whole thing tonight because there's plenty of
time
for that.
I think we're not going to. But
I was trying to keep it positive.
How about this?
I don't think.
Let's keep it positive for real.
I'm down. I like what I saw.
Let's keep it positive.
I like what I saw.
How good does Rob Williams look to you?
He came in that. He came in that second half stretch. Recorded a steal, a putback, a lob dunk, a breakout layup. Just play after play after play started piling up for him.
And he's a constant presence. His defensive presence is real. He affects shots. I mean, that he's there, and he's such a quick leaper. It makes his rebounding game is so much better than it's been this year over years past.
And this is what I said last game, Jimmy. If Myles Turner was here and you're dedicating $18 million to that guy, Rob doesn't get this level of opportunity, this kind of place to move up in the rotation and maybe become the starter at some point.
That's such a cop-up, Bobby, but go on.
The long game. We signed
That's such a cop-up. Don't even get me started on that point. Are you serious?
There's a lot more to that. There's Grant Williams. There's Theis.
Bobby, are you serious with that point?
It's the reality of the situation.
No, it's not. It's really not the reality of the situation. You could actually play both of those guys. You could play both of those guys. You could play Jayson Tatum at the 3. You could play Jaylen Brown at the 2. You could do so many different things with Myles Turner. I don't even want to get started on it.
Oh, so now you love double big?
It's a different double big, dude. I've never not loved double big, but
it just turns out you just didn't like Thompson.
It's a complete. I think we can all agree that Myles Turner is the complete opposite of Tristan Thompson. Can we not agree at that? Can we not agree?
I don't want to do the Myles Turner thing tonight.
I don't want to either, but Bobby just brought it up that if you had Myles Turner, Rob Williams would never spread his wings, which is completely bogus. But let's just talk about Rob Williams, because I will say this. I'm at the point now where, John, we talked about the fact that the Celtics have no tradable assets. If you are the Celtics, if you're
now they're Williams and Pritchard prior to injury.
Correct.
Well, we made this point, Jimmy. We made the point that if any Celtic became good enough to become a tradable asset, no one would want to trade them anymore.
Right.
Because now, do you want to throw in
especially
Rob?
Marcus Smart.
Do you want to throw in Rob Williams to sweeten a package with the TPE to get a serviceable wing rotation player? People will be like, no, I'd rather keep Rob at this point. So as soon as a guy gets good enough to be traded, he has value to you as well. So that was the thing at the moment, at the beginning of the season.
So let's see where this goes.
Very little value. Now they do.
There's two outcomes here. One, the Rob Theis lineup works and shows that double big
took
can
my
work.
point.
No, I mean, these are just the two options here. If that works and double big does end up working and it was just a Thompson problem, then it's pretty clear what happened here. The Celtics should have traded for Myles Turner. That's the best player they're going to get in that situation. And then you could run double big with Turner and Rob and Theis. And
Of course they could, Bobby. Of course they could.
If the issue, Jimmy, is they still need a wing, then they needed the flexibility. They're going to eventually need to go out and get that wing down the line. And I still think that might be possible here. I don't love double big as a premise. I like 3 wings.
Yeah, I'm with you, Bobby.
We got spoiled.
This is a completely moot point. You throw, in a perfect world, let's not even say this year, next year, you have Rob Williams starting at center and you have Myles Turner starting at power forward. You have, we can just go down the line. I don't even tell you the starting lineup. That being said, like, it is what it is at this point, but that's pretty much what it comes down to. You don't really need to think about where it was or all those things. So
I think to Bobby's point, I think what worries me first is the nights when Daniel Theis is in foul trouble, which is like 80% of the nights, right? I mean, like that's what really complicates things, and especially if he's not doing much offensively. If he's not spreading the floor for you or not making things easier, then all of a sudden he's clogging the lanes. Him and Rob,
one foul from him tonight.
When you don't have someone in the wing to defend, and then now when you lose Marcus Smart, you're losing that defense on the in the backcourt and in some cases on the wing position. That's going to wear these guys really thin, and I just think it's inevitable. You're going to see Daniel Theis with at least 3 fouls by the end of the first quarter.
Here's the possibility, though, Joe.
On a nightly basis,
If you move him to the wing and have Rob playing more of an interior shot blocking role, which again, Brad's been looking for shot blocking. He's been saying this.
Yeah, I mean, look. Between the two of those two, like what they look like against the Lakers, I mean, if you see that sort of effort, that kind of energy, that sort of continuity against, I don't know, 80% of the rest of the league, any other team pretty much, not named the Lakers, then you're in really good shape. But we haven't seen that much.
Here's one thing we can all agree on.
And it's going to be tough, Bobby, moving forward without Marcus Smart, because that's a huge anchor on the defense, right? That's your defensive anchor. So now you're going to be a bit exposed, up front with those guys.
Here's the one thing that we can all agree on. Rob needs to play more than 15 minutes a game.
I agree with that.
Point.
Yeah.
Like,
at this point,
so that's my biggest thing. That's my biggest thing is that, like, I'm a huge Brad guy. I'm not, like, I know there's a lot of people in the comments, and I know there's a lot of people that watch the show and that just watch the Celtics that get frustrated with, some of the substitutions or whatnot that Brad does or doesn't do. And I'm a big Brad guy. I think he's a smart coach, and I wouldn't want him to not be the coach of the team because I really don't know who should be the coach of the team. Like, it's one thing to be like, oh, he's got to go. You got to know who needs to take his spot. But I will say this: I hope, and obviously, I think I know Brad's a way smarter basketball mind than I am. But I would hope that Brad would see what a lot of other people see.
Jimmy.
What?
It's close.
It's close. I mean, it's. Could I coach his team? Maybe. But in most cases, I would choose Brad over me. But I think Rob Williams is severely, and I want to emphasize the fact that I'm saying severely, underplayed.
You know what it is, Jimmy?
I think that he needs 66% more minutes than what he's getting. For two reasons. Hold on.
He got there tonight. Yep.
Let me just say one thing.
Yeah,
for 2 reasons. One, because I actually think he's good, and
Brad did the thing you're telling him to do already. He did it tonight.
He needs to continue to do is what we want.
That's what I'm saying. It's one game, but if anyone's been watching this season, we know that, like, one game he plays 26 minutes, one game he plays
No, it's
9
a trend,
minutes.
Jimmy. It's a trend. Tristan played a season low 15 minutes tonight. He was the third big off the bench. Okay, for the second time in 2 nights. Granted, he played 23 the game before, but the game before that he played a season low 17 minutes. There's twice he's been under the 20-minute mark, and they're two.
We have the COVID stuff in there too.
Yes, but there's 2 of the last 3 games. Okay, that he's fallen below 20 and fallen below these guys in the rotation. So
Which is unacceptable.
Brad's right,
guys.
I think he's got it.
This isn't going to be good, but hopefully I'm going to take Rob's word for it. Rob tweaked his thumb. He had his thumb wrapped during his presser. When asked about it, he replied, "I'm straight." So
it's a thumb. It means nothing. My point is this, guys.
Who needs thumbs?
You have a young, athletic center on your team that, like, I mean, rarely this season is everyone like, wow, Rob's really killing them right now. You need to play him for 2 reasons. One, he's either going to help you, or he's either going to become a tradable asset. And John, you mentioned it earlier in the show. They had no tradable assets going into the season, literally 0, unless you consider Marcus Smart 1. Rob Williams is becoming 1. So everyone who's like, oh, they've got the TPE, we'll see what they can get. You can't just take the TPE and trade for somebody, right? So you actually have a low contract player with high upside in Rob Williams, and you have the TPE. Now you're in business. Now you can actually think about making a trade that can help you go from a second round team or an Eastern Conference team to an NBA Finals team. Am I right or am I wrong there?
I wouldn't trade Rob. I wouldn't trade Rob because
of course you wouldn't, Bobby. You wouldn't trade anybody on the team, Bobby.
No, but if you're looking at the big picture here, you expect Rob to be the center for years to come. I still think Theis is out the door after this year.
Could you just draft? Could you just try to draft another center?
It's tough at center because it takes time.
It's not just trade Rob, not trade Rob. Okay, this is it's a much more nuanced discussion than that. You would absolutely load up every single person not named Jalen or Jayson into any deal for a legitimate star. So
exactly,
if Beal is on the table, which he's not because they don't have enough there, you would roll up. You would literally say. Pick
needs to be centered around somebody.
Pick every asset.
No, I agree with you there, Jimmy.
But you don't roll it into an
average wing,
an average wing bench guy. There you don't. It's not worth it.
Of course not. But okay. But think about it. What's Rob Williams making? Nothing. But he's an asset now. He's a tradable asset. He's a player. He's not just a pick.
I think Theis is too. I've said that all along, though.
He's an expiring contract, Bobby. We all know this. Like, he's an expiring contract.
But he's an asset. I think he's an expiring contract, which doesn't mean anything.
I think he's a good player.
I can't wait to see Pritchard back. I can't wait. I'm even more excited now. He's going to be like the new Marcus Smart, and everyone's going to love him even more. It'll be fun.
No NBA GM is licking their lips at Daniel Theis. Like, I mean, they're to be honest, like, they're not that different than us. Like, they understand Daniel Theis' worth, but like at the end of the day, like John said, he's an expiring contract, and like he is what he is. Rob Williams is a guy that has way more worth than Daniel Theis. But you gotta play him. And he has to do his thing.